standing shoulder to shoulder, holding the line. Regulars and reserves working together, impossible to tell apart. Equally pelted with missiles, just potatoes this time, these soldiers are preparing for full-scale civil unrest. In the next few weeks, the Irish Guards are deploying to Cyprus on Optosca, along with around 50 reserves from the London Regiment. While they're there in July, it will be the 40th anniversary of what the Turks call the intervention and the Greeks call the invasion of Cyprus. Tensions could flare and the troops could face scenes just like this. The civilians are protesting inside the buffer zone where they're not allowed, so the role of the soldiers is to push them back onto the Greek Cypriot side.
There's no point in being soft on them, because if obviously in a real riot they're not going to take it easy on, so we go as sort of as hard as we can so you can make the training as realistic as possible.
You can never really train for what the real scenario is going to be, but this is going to be the closest we can get to. The guys are not going to hold back, they're going to go through as hard as possible, so it's a good way to learn the hard way.
We don't want to injure the lads before they do go, so we use potatoes and expended battle lines, and obviously then just kick and pull the shields and things. Obviously the rioters themselves, they use water piping as batons, so they do give you a bit of a sting, but not as much as a real baton would.
It won't all be batons and riots though. Most of the work will be routine patrolling. Reserves have deployed on Optosca before, but this is the first time they'll do so under the Army 2020 model, where regular units are paired up with reserve units. They then train and deploy together.
And so that's what we've got. We've got the London's platoon will be a number 1 company. Number 1 company is responsible for patrolling the buffer zone in Cyprus between the north and the south. And the western end of that will be owned by that London Regiment platoon.
And side by side is the future, according to Army 2020.
We were nervous at first. I mean, unless you're going to Afghanistan or Iraq, you wouldn't really have had a chance to do this. But the guys have been very welcoming. You just have a few drinks with them afterwards, and you're getting really to know them. And regardless of what people say between like the regulars and the reserve forces, the integration has been fantastic.
That integration needs to be replicated across the country's battalions and regiments for Army 2020 to succeed. Charlotte Cross, Forces News, Shrewsbury.